Good afternoon, students. In the previous class, we have already discussed about pattern allowances, pattern materials, types of patterns. All we have discussed in the earlier classes. Then, in the previous class, we have already discussed about pattern allowances. Then, so why these allowances are necessary to provide on patterns? What are the different types of allowances? Then, so the why it is given to the patterns for producing a defect or sound casting, all we have discussed then. In this class we will discuss about molding materials then. So mold material should be such that the cavity of the mold retain its shape till the metal has solidified then. So it means this all ingredients added into the molding sand should be capable of providing a property such that the mold should retain the shape given by the pattern till solidification of the metal then, till solidification of the metal. So once it solidifies, it can be easily collapse, then later it can be retained and reclaimed then. So casting can be made in permanent molds made of ferrous metals or alloys, or temporary refractory molds made of refractory sands or resin then. So however then in some casting methods, different molding methods and casting methods, or even then refractory molds, all we can use it, and all those are the different mold materials then. Mold can also be made up of wax, carbon, plaster, Paris, ceramics, but in some special cases these are not much in practices, but only sand molding and other casting methods are more applicable nowadays, finding a more applications in the industry then. Permanent molds are used for low melting point materials, and they are also costly. This is very important then. Permanent molds nothing but permanent molding methods makes use of low melting metals such as aluminum, magnesium, zirconium, and copper and other soft materials. Then they are tend to lose their temperature gradients quickly. That is the reason then those are pouring in a permanent molding method. Permanent molds nothing but those are all metal mold then. So these low melting alloys, pour it as and when pour it, it will be attracted into the complex area and suddenly cools and solidify. That is the reason then it can be. If you use a sand mold then, so sand it is highly porous enough, then the temperature gradients will be escaped before reaching a farthest end of the mold then. That is the reason then permanent molds are using it for non-ferrous metals and alloys always for producing quality castings. Hence most of the castings are produced by using refractory mold materials, mainly refractory sands. Some cases it happens. So however the choice of a particular mold material depends upon some factors, the cost of the material. So normally if cost is very high and dimensional accuracy, surface finish are least prevalent, then normally they prefer sand molding method then quality of casting required. So if it is of highly dimensional accurate, then cost, quality, then thin projections, then highly complex in nature, casting quality casting methods are normally preferred with the quality sand then and quality core then. Number of castings required, so such castings if it required more, then Normally they will use it in the machine molding then, so high pressure molding normally. So at that time, with good plastic, with good what pattern, good molding material are essential, with good design of casting, then accuracy of the casting, it is more than so quality sand. Then shape and size of the casting. So if it is of simple, then sand molding. If it is complex, then synthetic sands with quality binders and additives are adding them. Then material to be cast, then either a ferrous material or non-ferrous material to be cast. Then molding sand. Then molding sand is widely used mold material for casting ferrous and non-ferrous metals, and few grams to few tons. No doubt that the main reason for this is that the sand fulfills service requirements at reasonably lower cost than the other materials. When the sand is properly mixed with other elements, it constitutes of the one of the best material for the mold. Then the sources of molding sands are riverbeds, lakes, seashore, deserts, all it can be. So this is all somewhat sands normally available on the seashore or in the desert are suitable. Then type of molding sand. Then so either what there are mainly three types of sand. Then one, it is a natural sand, second one is a synthetic sand, and third one it is a special sand. Then however, then so in the natural sand, then natural sands, natural sand can be used directly for making mold as soon as it is received from the nature. Then it contains a binding material 5 to 20% clay. It needs only water to mix before making the mold. Then and additives are also there, and it can maintain moisture content for a long time, and what also contain considerable amount of organic matter that itself allow it to bond. Then so and this type of sand permits easy patching and finishing of mold. So normally by using Ceramol coat, so it can also be repaired by using this coat. Then that is what with sanding very high temperature also very useful for what mold repairing. Then so another thing, hence natural sands are used for cast iron and non-ferrous metals and alloys. Then synthetic sand consists of a natural sand with or without clay, moisture and binder like bentonite. So however, then hence this sand is formulated as synthetic sand. These the types of sands are used for steel and other ferrous and non-ferrous alloy casting. Then synthetic sand has only advantages as compared to natural sands. It requires less proportions of binder, higher refractives and permeability. Properties can be easily controlled. Refractory grain size is more uniform. It is more suitable in mass production and mechanized foundries, so it requires less storage space. Then synthetic sands are costly because it is capable of providing all kind of necessary properties. Those can be enhanced by adding one or two elements simply, but it is a prepared sand. Then Then special sands are mm, green sands, loam sand, core sand, parting sand, facing sand, and backup sand. Then backup sand. Then. So especially this is very important. Backup sand, mm, facing sand are generally used for many purposes. Then, so we must have to understand. Green sand, then, if the sand which is in moist condition contains 5 to 5 percentage of water and 15 to 30 percentage of clay, with clay is called what? Green sand. Then. So mold and course both can be made of green sand. Green sand molds are poured in the green condition, so it is preferred for producing simple, small, and medium-sized casting only. Then loam sand, so it contains a more amount of clay as compared to other sand, that is a 50% clay and 50% sand. Then, so loam sand dries hard. Then its ingredients are fine sand, finely grounded refractories, clay graphite, and fibrous reinforcement. It is used for making mold for heavy and large parts. Very limited parts of large one can be prepared with this, but this is rarely used. Then core sand is different from molding sand, as it is have very low clay, then clay content, and then their grain size is large to increase permeability. So grain size is more, nothing but what, but no, free of what other ingredients, only quality binders are using. Then it is a silica sand mixed with core oil, which is composed of linseed oil, resin oil, light mineral oil, and other binding materials. Then, so only all these can be added into the core sand as a core oils. Then coming to the parting sand, then it consists of dried silica sand, sea sand, or burnt sand. And it is used to keep the green sand from sticking to the pattern, and also to allow the sand to parting surface of the cope and drag to separate without cleaning. So in between the boxes to be assembled, there they can spray, or once the pattern about before keeping the pattern they can apply, and after filling sand also, no, they are spraying. Then this over the what pattern. Then, so this is mainly that the molding sand, prepared molding sand consists a lot of moisture. Then this should not be stick permanently. Hence, this what finely grounded sand of dry in the dry form are sprayed. Then it is parting. Its parting compound may be dry or dry or liquid. Then dry parting substances are charcoal, ground bone, limestone, and then ground nut shells, etc. Then, whereas the liquid substances are petroleum jelly mixed with oil, paraffin, and stearic acid. Then facing sand, it is fresh and specially prepared molding sand which covers the pattern all around it, thus forms the face of the mold cavity. Facing sand nothing but about once the pattern, if you keep it in a mold box, then whole pattern it is covered with the layer of sand by facing sand only. Means it is exactly come in contact with the pattern. Later, if you remove the pattern, then the cavity imprint, then so that layer of sand will come in contact with the molten metal. Therefore, it can able to give all kind of properties. Then it comes in contact with the molten metal being poured. Then hence it should possess much improved properties than other sand. Then, as I said, then it uses its use reduces the mold material cost, various facing materials, and flumbags, graphite, talc, molasses, etc. Then backup sand. It is the it is the sand which back up the facing sand. Then. So it is not quality sand. Then here and there are in the foundry floor if it is thrown here and there or used foundry sand and does not come in contact with the pattern, then so this sand is has a black color and hence sometimes it is called a black sand. Then it should be cleaned off with the foreign material like pins, nails or other metal parting chips on the other. Then it is the floor sand which can be used again and again. It supports the what facing sand and retain whole mold in a mold box. That's it. Mm, these are all the what some of the what special sands used in the what um, foundry. Then coming to the what other what aspect, then property of molding sand. So coming to the properties of the molding sand, then molding sand is used to produce sound casting, hence it should possess following desirable properties. Then flowability or plasticity, then it is the ability of the molding sand to get compacted to uniform density. It assists molding sand to flow and pack all around the pattern and take up the desired shape. It increases with the amount of clay and water. Then flowability, nothing but it is the capable of flowing into the complex area of the mold. Then and under ramming it should be completely filled, and once pattern removes then it should be retained. Then it is exactly the flowability property. Then green strength, then it is the strength of the sand in the green or moist condition. A mold which has adequate green strength will retain its shape and does not distort or collapse. Then even after pattern has been removed, then it helps in making and handling mold. Then if the mold is hardened in contact with the pattern surface and adequate green strength, then high degree of dimension accuracy and stability can also be obtained there. So green strength nothing but about the sand available in moist condition, provide all kind of properties, then retain its shape better than other states, then but capable of forming any complex shapes of simple to large one. Then dry strength, then it is the strength of the molding sand in the dry state. A sand mold has sufficient dry strength to withstand erosion of the mold wall and enlargement of the mold cavity during the flow of molten metal. It is related to grain size, binder and water content. So it is very important. It is the strength of the molding sand in the green state, in the dry state. Then so normally green sand, if it is dried in an oven between 150 to 250 degrees centigrade to drive up the moisture content, becomes the dry strength, then become the dry sand. Then and the corresponding strength it is called it as our dry strength. Then so normally it avoids erosion, then enlargement of the mold during pouring. Even molten metal comes in contact with us, all properties it can be provided. Then permeability or porosity. So molten metal always contains some amount of dissolved gases which are evolved with the metal solidifies. Then also when the molten metal comes in contact with the moist sand, it generates steam or water vapor. Then if these gases or water vapor generated by molding sand do not find opportunity to escape completely through the mold, then they will form gas hole and pores in the casting. Hence sand must be porous to allow the gases and steam generated with the molds to be removed freely. Then so permeability nothing but it is the property of the molding material or molding sand by virtue of its easy escape of the gases produced during solidification. That's it. Then it is the ability of the molding sand to withstand high temperature, refractiveness. It is the ability of the molding sand withstand high temperature without fusion, cracking or buckling. hence facilitates clean casting then. Nothing but about when molten metal comes in contact with the sand, then sand should not fuse under high temperature. Then the amount of this property depends upon the metal to be cast. Then so if the sand lacks this property, then it slags on the surface and mold in both casting surface can can be obtained. Then adhesiveness, it is the property of the molding sand by virtue of by which it is capable of adhering to the surface of the other materials. So sand particles stick to each other. Then due to this property, heavy sand mass is successfully held in a mold flask and manipulated as required without any risk. So it never falls. Cohesiveness, it is the property of the sand due to which sand particles stick together. This property helps without the pattern from the mold, without damaging the mold surface and edge. Then due to cohesiveness, the mold pieces get adequate strength, withstand the pressure of the flowing molten metal and do not get washed under this pressure. This property is similar to greenstone, depends upon the grain size, clay and moisture content. Thermal stability, to avoid breaking, buckling and flaking of a mold surface at high temperature and possesses a dimensional thermal stability. Means under high temperature contact it should not be bulk or break or collapse. Then collapsibility, it is the property due to which the sand mold automatically collapse after freezing of the casting or solidification of the casting to allow the free contraction of the metal. If this property of the sand is absent, then the casting will result in tears and cracks. Then so all these are very important properties for what obtaining a sound casting. Ingredients of molding sand. The main constituents or ingredients of molding sand are sand, binder, additives and water. Then the sand which form the major portion of the molding sand is essentially silicon grain. Then silica grain. Then it's a river sand which is used with or without washing. The shape of the grains may be round, subangular, angular, or very angular. Then the shape and size of these grains greatly affected the properties of the molding sand. The grains of the molding sand used sand may be coarse or fine grains. The coarse grains have more wide space between the grains, which increases permeability, whereas fine grain lowers the permeability. Then silica sand and round grains gives much better compatibility as compared to angular grains, because sand with rounded grains has a greatest degree of close packing of the particle. So that is related to the sand. About 80 to 90 percentage of the molding sand constitutes silica grains. Then binder. Then molding sand binders are less refractory as compared to molding sand. Binders produce cohesion between molding sand grains in the green or dry condition. They give strength to the molding sand so that it can retain its shape as a mold cavity. If the amount of binder increases, permeability of molding sand decreases. The most commonly used binders are organic binders and inorganic binders. Organic binders are mostly used for core making. The common binders in this group are linseed oil, dextrin oil, molasses, pitch, etc. Then commonly used inorganic binders are clay, sodium silicate, Portland cement, and the clay binder, which is of mostly used, have the following terms: then bentonite, fire clay, limonite, ball clay, kelonite, hillite, etc. Then, so out of these all binders, bentonite is most commonly used. Then coming to the what additive, then the basic constituents of the molding sand mixture are sand, binder, and water. Materials other than basic ingredients are also added to the molding sand, mixes in small quantities for following purpose: enhancing the existing property. Additives are adding to develop certain other properties like resistance to sand, expansion defects, etc. The most commonly used additives are coal dust. Then it is the mostly used in the it is mostly used in the it is mostly used in the sand for the gray iron casting. It reacts chemically with the oxygen present in the sand pores, and thus produces said reducing atmosphere at the molten metal interface and gives oxidation of the metal. It reduces cohesiveness and strength of the sand. So these are the disadvantages. But coal dust increases smoothness and surface finish. Sea coal, it is finely ground soft coal, less than 1% is usable, widely used in sand for grey iron castings. It restricts the movement of the mold wall and improves surface finish. It reduces hot strength permeability of the mold and requires more amount of water in the sand. Sea coal again increases the refractiveness and the surface finish. Then coming to the silica floor, then it increases strength and decreases the metal penetration into the mold. So normally metal mold reaction takes place and coalesce each other. At that time, if you add a silica floor, it is of highly refractive in nature, that avoid the penetration of the sand with the metal casting during solidification. It reduces expansion defects and improves surface finish. May be added up to 35% by weight of the sand. The wood floor then promotes wall movement of the mold. Then it reduces expansion defects, increases collapsibility, improves surface finish and the thermal stability of the mold. It may be added about 0.5 to 2%. Then wood floor, cereal, cellulose, all they are adding. Then these are adding to reduce expansion defect, increasing collapsibility after solidification. Then improve surface finish, thermal stability, about 0.5 to 2% by weight of molding sand they are adding. Which sorry, it increases hot strength and surface finish on both casting, then on both ferrous and non-ferrous casting. It is added up to 2%. If higher proportions is added, it reduces the greenstone, which it is a derivative of soft coal. That's it. Fuel oil, then it is added to reduce the requirement of free water in the sand, and dextrose and molasses. Then in addition to increase the dry strength of the mold, head soreness are very important. Then so to obtain a head soreness, then this dextrine or molasses they are adding, almost similar to corn flour only, but they are adding with water and adding. It is available in syrupy like then thick liquid. Then Then water. Then the amount of clay added to the molding sand will not give the required strength and bond until a suitable quantity of water is mixed with it. The amount of water may vary from 1.5 to 8%. Water added to the sand mixture partly gets absorbed by clay and partly remains free, which is called as free water. Then the free water acts as a lubricant and affects the following properties. It increases plasticity, improves moldability, reduces the strength and the sand mixture. For a given amount of clay and its type, there is an optimum requirement of water. Then if the amount of water is less, then it does not develop proper strength and plasticity. Whereas if water content is more, then it results in excessive plasticity and a dry strength. So, however, then all these are the what important ingredients, and this question also they have added asked repetitively in the examination along with the properties, and ingredients are very important, and even types of sands are also very important. So you should concentrate more. uh, Remaining topics will discuss in the next class. Then thank you. Stay home, stay safe at stay home. Then use sanitization, you wear mask, avoid social distance, and stay safe at home. Then good night. Then